Imagine waking up to one of those perfect late summer mornings, the kind where the air feels crisp, the sky is that impossible, cloudless blue pilots call severe clear. I was 28, living in a tiny walk-up in Lower Manhattan, chasing dreams in the city that never sleeps. Little did I know, that morning, sleep would be the last thing on anyone's mind. It started like any Tuesday. I rolled out of bed around 7:15 a.m., brewed some coffee in my tiny kitchen that smelled like burnt toast and yesterday's takeout. The radio was playing some light morning show banter. I remember thinking, perfect day for a walk downtown before my shift. I stepped out onto the street. The city was alive, yellow cabs honking, the smell of pretzels from vendors, businessmen in suits power walking with newspapers under their arms. The World Trade Center towers loomed in the distance like two silver sentinels, catching the morning sun. Over 50,000 people worked there every day. It was a symbol of American ambition, the tallest buildings in New York, icons of finance and resilience. I hopped on the subway toward the financial district. People were reading the Post, chatting about the Yankees or the latest election buzz. No one had any idea. At 8:46 a.m., everything shifted. I was near the entrance to the PATH station when I felt it more than I heard it, this deep, thunderous boom that vibrated through the ground. People stopped. Heads turned south. A massive fireball erupted from the North Tower, floors 93 to 99. American Airlines Flight 11, a Boeing 767, had slammed into it at nearly 500 miles per hour, carrying thousands of gallons of jet fuel. The explosion sent black smoke billowing into that perfect blue sky. Debris rained down papers, metal, God knows what else. At first, everyone thought it was a terrible accident. A small plane? Mechanical failure? I stood frozen with a crowd on the sidewalk. Phones started ringing, no smartphones back then, just flip phones and payphones jammed with people calling loved ones. I remember a woman next to me whispering, "My husband works on the 95th floor." Her voice cracked. Sirens were already wailing everywhere. Fire trucks and ambulances screaming toward the site. Heroic first responders, FDNY, NYPD rushing in while everyone else was trying to figure out what was happening. Minutes felt like hours. We were all glued to the scene. Then, at 9:03 a.m., I swear the air changed. United Airlines Flight 175 came in low and fast from the south. It banked hard, engines roaring, and smashed directly into the South Tower, of floors 77 to 85. A second, enormous explosion. The fireball was unreal orange and black against the blue. That's when panic set in. This wasn't an accident. New York was under attack. The crowd erupted, people screaming, running in every direction, some toward the towers to help, most away. I joined a surge moving north, but I kept looking back. You could see people in the windows above the impact zones waving, trapped. Some jumped. The images are burned into my memory. Those who chose to fall rather than burn. It still haunts me. I felt helpless, small. The towers were burning like giant torches. Jet fuel fires reaching over 1,000 degrees Celsius, melting steel beams. We didn't know the science then, but you could feel the buildings groaning. By 9:59 a.m., the South Tower couldn't take it anymore. It collapsed in on itself in about 10 seconds. A roar like nothing I've ever heard, like a freight train from hell. A massive pyroclastic cloud of concrete, steel, and dust raced toward us at 20 to 30 miles per hour. I ran. Everyone did. The sky turned dark gray in seconds. Ash and debris pelted us like apocalyptic hail. I pulled my shirt over my face, coughing, eyes burning. It tasted like chalk and chemicals. People were covered head to toe in gray powder ghosts in the streets. Then, at 10:28 a.m., the North Tower fell. Same deafening sound. The ground shook like an earthquake. I was blocks away, but felt it in my bones. Communication was gone, cell towers overwhelmed, bridges and tunnels closed. The island felt cut off from the world. I ended up in a park with strangers, sharing water from a vendor's cart that had been abandoned. A firefighter, covered in dust, sat down and just stared. We didn't speak much. What do you say? The days after were surreal. Lower Manhattan was a war zone. The air smelled of burning for weeks. Fires at Ground Zero smoldered for months. Nearly 3,000 people lost their lives that day. 2,753 inches, New York alone. Heroes like the passengers on Flight 93 who fought back over Pennsylvania. First responders who ran into the buildings. But amid the horror, New York showed its heart. Strangers helping strangers. Lines around the block to donate blood. Restaurants feeding rescue workers for free. Candlelight vigils. Flags everywhere. For a brief moment, we weren't divided, we were one. I volunteered handing out water near the site. Saw ironworkers, cops, and civilians digging through the pile. The resilience was incredible. Being there changed me. It taught me how fragile life is, how quickly normal can vanish, but also how strong we can be together. In the years since, I've hugged my family tighter, chased sunrises, and tried to live with purpose. To the families who lost loved ones, the survivors, the responders still battling illnesses, thank you for your strength. Your stories keep us human.